Hello everybody and welcome along to our live coverage from mid-Ohio. We're about to go live in sound and vision. IMSA Radio and IMSA TV together. It's qualifying for the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship and it's live. Hello everybody and welcome to sound and vision coverage from mid-Ohio. John Hindhaugh, Jeremy Shaw and Shea Adam bringing you our coverage from trackside here. Smattering of fans on what has been a very, very wet opening to the weekend here. Mid-Ohio SportsCar course, one of the most challenging bits of tarmac anywhere on the IMSA calendar. Just on 2.25 miles, 13 corners. And we've had 4 seasons in a day here. The great track is peppered with action areas, including at the top of the hill at the keyhole, a 180-degree right-hander, down heavy braking turn 4 into the S's and Madness, then through Thunder Valley and back to another 180-degree plus corner at the Carousel before coming across the finish line. The start line for the race will be halfway between the keyhole and down into turn 4 into the S's. As I said, it's been particularly damp here for not just the last few days but the last few weeks and months, which has left the green and pleasant land slightly more greener than normal and rather damp and soggy underfoot, and anyone who goes off the racing surface here is going to struggle to get back on again. In the pit lane, Shea Adam is with us. Temperature has been up and down today a little bit, but at least, Shea, it is dry for our qualifying session, which will start with GT Daytona.
I've put the Iris specs on, John. I'm being extremely optimistic and bright side sunny. It's gotten a little bit warmer since these cars were last out on track. When we left it, it was about 47 degrees Fahrenheit, just edging down towards 46. Feels like it's up in the 50s now. I don't know the exact temperature, so I will have to get an update on that. But the car is rolling out to the pit lane. This is the first time that GTD qualifying will be between just the 2 drivers. And of course, we have a silver or bronze driver and a gold or platinum driver in every car. So we know who's going to be qualifying these cars based on their FIA driver ratings. So that takes sort of the fun out of the mystery of guessing who's going to be on pole. But it's been 6 weeks since qualifying, and at Sebring it was Trent Hinman in the number 86 MSR Acura who got a pole. Well, he would love nothing more than to do that here at the Acura Sports Car Grand Prix, but he's going to have a lot of competition. I talked up at Marion's, and thank you, by the way, to everybody up there, with some of the Lexus guys, and they said it's just something about this track. It works really well. So the Aim Vassar-Sullivan crew with the 12 and the 14 looking to try and dethrone the current pole-sitting king, Trent Hinman.
Shea Adam, who will be keeping an eye on what's going on down in the pit lane. The big choice here, Jeremy Shaw, is going to be for tyres. Now this is a track that dries very quickly. I don't know whether it was fog, it was low cloud, whether you would call it rain or precipitation. The issue was that the track did get wet, but that's now stopped. It's brightening up considerably. I'm going to open the IMSA broadcast booth back door again and have a look out at the gathering crowd who are coming into mid-Ohio here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. What do you reckon? I think you've got to go slicks, haven't you, at this point, Jeremy?
It'll be a fairly tough call, I think, because there certainly there's not much grip in the tyre. I think it's a little bit drier than it was for the last session, but it's certainly going to be really, really difficult out there. Kind of wouldn't surprise me to see somebody taking what would be a little bit of a gamble, perhaps, because the track is certainly primarily dry, if they did elect to try a set of wet weather tyres.
Fortune favours the brave, they say, Shea. What can you tell us about any of the runners that you can see? Is it Michelin slicks or Michelin wet weather tyres?
I haven't seen any of our GTD cars on wet weather tyres, so it looks like slicks across the board.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. It means that they're going to have to be a tad circumspect when they first go out, because it is still a little bit chilly. We're just a few moments away from getting things underway. So the drivers taking their last deep breaths, pulling their straps down over their hands devices, just getting their final briefing now from their teams over the radio. Cars have been polished and washed down in between sessions, extremely grimy, even if you stay on the black stuff around here this weekend. Green flags in the air. And the 15 minutes is counting down. GT Daytona's onto the track here at Mid-Ohio for qualifying for Sunday's race. Big burnout by the Magnus Racing Lamborghini Huracan Evo that pulls out onto the track. Actually, that's not an Evo, is it? That car, that's a standard version of the machine. Audi coming out at the back as well. So, how slippery is it going up to the keyhole, Jeremy? I suppose we're going to find out in about 10 seconds.
Has to be Levo, doesn't it?
Does it?
I think so.
Is it the Evo? I thought the Evo had the bigger air intake on the top. But okay. Is that the change for the Super Trophy, or maybe I'm getting my Huracans mixed up? I must look at the pair I've got in the garage to see which one's which when I get back home. If only. Well, it's slippery.
It's lifetime.
Yes. Someone else's life, I think. The WeatherTech qualifying session, as per Rule 40.1.3, declared by the race director as flexible. Now, that means you do have, at the drop of the green flag and before you roll out of the pit lane, you have the choice of either wet weather Michelin tyres or slick tyres. But once you're on the circuit, Jeremy, that's it. There can be nothing done to the cars. You can't even bleed pressure from the tyres. The car cannot be touched.
No, so the decision's got to be made in advance before the car goes out onto the racetrack. And we're hearing that pretty much everybody is going to be on slick tyres, but I would not expect the lap record here in qualifying that was set last season by Jack Hawksworth to be under any kind of pressure at all. 1 minute 19.3 is that standard that was set by the Englishman last season. The fastest time we've seen in practice came this morning at a 1:21.8, so a couple and a half seconds away from that. The best time was turned by Trent Hinman in that Meyer Shank Racing with Kerb Agajani Cunner 86, the Acura NSX GT3. And for Michael Shank Racing, or Meyer Shank Racing, excuse me, this is the team's home race, based just on the east side of Columbus, so a little more than an hour's drive away. And with Acura 2, as Trent Hinman slips well wide there and exited of the keyhole onto the dirt, that's not going to help with the grip as he heads down the back straight. With Acura also having a major base particularly for the NSX in Marysville, Ohio, also about an hour away from here. We get a replay of Trent Hinman overcooking it on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, and that wasn't water related. He was just on the wrong line coming out there. That wasn't the car sliding on the water that's running there. And same part of the track, this is the 33 Mercedes who's had an issue. And who brought the Wins car out? Was it Ben? It was Ben Keating. Now that, I'm guessing that was a water-related incident. You'll have got on the power just a bit too more.
There is a river of water actually there, John, running across the road from so after the apex, the second apex of the keyhole. So it is really, really treacherous down there.
It's slippery right on the inside. He was following the 63, and he comes out and loses it on the water. Now that's not what Trent did. Trent just was on a slightly wider line and ran out of room on the exit. We've seen a lot of people struggling at that part of the track. There's also a little weeper just turning into 12.
I'll tell you what,
Ben Keating's got on with it. He's managed to get on the track and continue.
Even with that off, Trent Hinman went purple in all three sectors.
First guy out, wasn't he?
He's the first guy to set a lap time so far, so he is therefore at the top.
Welcome to McLaren and to the 720S. First time we've seen this car in qualifying for the Michelin Pilot Challenge. The Compass 360 team running in their dark grey and orange colours. But squint just a little bit, particularly when that car's coming towards you. It does have the look of a Lark F1 McLaren GTR for my money. Particularly the way the dark colour emphasises the shape of the cockpit itself. It's a great looking car, and they're feeling pretty confident. Matt Plum is on qualifying duties for the 76 car as he's about to go onto his first flying lap at the end of this one. Porsche in second, Zachary Robichon with a 1:37, but nowhere near the 1:34 of Trent Hinman, who's on another good lap. I think Trent wants to get out there, do a couple of really good laps, and then park that car.
I mean, that's stunning. I mean, absolutely, really impressive.
Oh, there's the 73 Park Place car off and that's Marco Seefried, and he's just tagged the wall.
I think he got away with it, John.
Do you think?
I do.
Just coming out of turn 2 again, Jeremy.
Just.
And he was great in the wet yesterday. He was great in the wet yesterday. Coming out of turn 2, runs wide again, and then, he lost it on the up change. Coming out of turn 2, the car snapped left. I've not seen that happen before. Did he just scrape the barrier? So it's not the river.
Well, it is.
It was. Sorry, I didn't see the big slide that he got in the river. I thought that was the up change. Is it a little ding on the wall? I think it was. But he's managed to keep going. Wow. This is really squeaky time for everyone. There's a good set of hardy spectators in the bleachers just on the outside of turn 2, and they're seeing all the action at the moment.
Trent
and there's
Hinman,
another one.
Same thing for Zachary Robichaud. Trent Hinman did improve on that second lap at 132.689, but Zachary Robichaud a 130.748 for the FAF Porsche in car number 9. Brilliant lap there by Zachary Robichaud, and he now leads by 1.9 seconds over Hinman, who's on a better lap right now. Robbie Foley up into second place for Turner Motorsports in the number 96 BMW, but still a second and a half away from Robbie Foley. Where is Trent Hinman?
And watch out for the number 14, Richard Heistand. He's been brilliant. Been really impressed with him in the Lexus. He's on a decent lap as well at the moment. He'll improve. There goes Robbie Foley. There's Hinman back up into second place, but he's still 1.2 seconds behind the Porsche. This is Porsche weather. In fairness, this is proper traditional Porsche grip levels. Get that all that weight over the back axle.
Particularly for somebody like Robichaud, who's from Quebec and does a lot of ice and snow driving, instructing in these very slippery conditions. So he's kind of used to the car moving around a lot, and that was certainly moving around a lot as he came out of the keyhole last time around.
It obviously has no fear for him, Jeremy. He's very experienced in rear-engine Porsches.
129.880 for Zachary Robichaud in car number 9. The second best is Trent Hinman at a 132.0.
Red flag. Red flag is out. So that's a problem on the racetrack, and let's see if we can pick up where that is for you. And it was the, I think it might have been the Turner BMW. No, it's the 73 off again at turn 2. 73 is off again at turn 2. We almost had that earlier on. So that's Marco Seefried. He got away with it the first time of asking, but the second time he's parked it closer to the barriers, and it's a carbon copy of what happened before. Got the slide on, and then he's on the grass. And so did he not get out of there altogether? No, that's a second.
He did the same again.
I think that's a second crack at it.
I think you're right,
to be honest. Shea Adam down in the pit lane. I mentioned Turner. I saw them sneaking into the pit lane. I don't think they had actually gone off, but they've not read the rule book.
Nope, because instead of stopping in their box, they sent Robbie straight down to the pit exit, and that is not good, because as soon as we go back to green, it means that they're going to have a drive-through penalty to serve.
Right, just to confirm, that was the original incident from Seefried. The car didn't move. So, and Compass with the 76 McLaren have gone down to the end of the pit lane, so they're going to have to do a drive-through as well within 3 laps of getting restarted. So that's a no-no. And that looks like another car in there. Is that the Lone Star car? Yes, it is. And Faf as well, with Zachary Robichaud. These guys should know better than this. Qualifying, you go back to your... And they're being told that by the official. You go back to your pit box and wait for the green flag. So just to confirm, one incident for Marco Seefried. He couldn't get out of the valley that he dropped into. So just to save his blushes slightly, couldn't quite catch the tank slapper. So all the cars that are sitting in the fast lane, including now being joined by the 44 of Magnus, are all going to get drive-throughs as soon as we go back green. And that could, well, if they're sensible, they'll stay out, they'll do 1 flying lap, possibly 2, and then they'll come back in to do the drive-through. Because if they do the drive-through, they won't have time to do another quick lap. So good news for Marco is he is back underway. He will come back into the pit lane, and he'll be being told at the moment, come straight back into your pit stall. And as soon as we get the safety vehicles back on behind the safety barriers will be back underway. Now,
the good news is there's not an awful lot of grass in the air intake there, because he mainly went off backwards.
Green flag has been thrown, and so that's great. And the reason, I was just about to mention this, the reason that green flag has been thrown is to ensure we get the best chance of getting the amount of time under green flag required to make this a live session. That's great race direction. Again, Jeremy, the car that is on its way back will come back in the pit lane and park back up again.
Yeah, and so that's that car's fault. He was the one who caused the wreck, so
Shea Adam looking at incidents in the pit lane. Shea, what's happened?
Richard Heistand did not fully accelerate when he went into the fast lane, and as a matter of fact, he brake checked the cars behind him, trying to give himself a bit of a gap, but he wasn't yet out of the pit lane, and you are not allowed to change your speed when you were in the fast lane, so that should be a penalty for Richard Heistand as well.
Thanks, Shea. So here we will wait for the penalties to be called for the guys sitting in the fast lane. They should be coming. And that will be a drive through.
So number 73 car.
Yeah, sorry.
I beg your pardon, John. What I was going to say there was he stopped his pit stop, but of course they're not allowed to touch the car, not even to drag that grass away off the grill.
Right, okay.
So he was waved on his way again. So Marco Seaweed's out now down toward the pit exit.
But he fulfilled what he had to do in coming in and stopping
at his pit
There's
stop.
not that much grass in there. He may have done a little bit of an emergency stop somewhere around the circuit to try and pull some of it out. All right, 3.5 minutes to go. One flyer, possibly two, depending on when you cross the line. There goes the Turner BMW. And with 3 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock as he goes through turn one.
All of these cars should have time for one more lap.
After this one?
Well, no, yeah, for 2 laps, yeah. Certainly for 2 laps.
So the 96
possibly 3
BMW.
So car 73 loses 2 fastest laps.
Yes, of course. Well
causing
remembered.
A red flag.
Well remembered. Well, he's sitting at the back. That's already been taken off, and he's sitting all the way down in 15th position, having got effectively no time. At the moment.
So he's going to have to do 2 laps before he even registers on the scoring.
Correct. So Turner BMW, Robbie Foley, 3rd position, the 96, the blue and yellow car coming through the S's. Still slippery out there. Michelin tyres still coming up to temperature. They've been sitting in the pit lane for a couple or 3 minutes as well, so that won't have helped.
Despite which, he's just gone purple in sector 1. That's from the start finish line all the way down toward the end of the back straight before turn 4. So Robbie Foley on a really, really good lap. He's done a great job this weekend, along with Bill Arbel, in this distinctive yellow and green Turner Motorsport BMW M6 GT3.
I think the Turner colours are great on any BMW. They really suit the big M6 coupe.
Richard Heistand now purple in sector 1 in the Lexus car number 14, and in sector 2 Zachary Robichon was briefly purple in sector 2 as Robbie Foley goes to the top of the charts with a 127.1. Into second place went Matt Plum in the McLaren at a 127.6, and ahead of them both is Robichon in car number 9 at 27.113.
And here comes that number 14 Lexus. Remember, they won here last year, and he goes to the top with a 125.8. I did say Richard had been impressing me this week. He hasn't had a completely perfect weekend, but he's been using his head and he's learned from any mistakes he has made. He's been very good in the conditions, and his teammate Frankie Montecalvo goes up into second. It's a Lexus lockout on the front row of GT Daytona.
That is impressive. Very impressive by both of those two. Great laps. Richard Heistand at a 125.885. Frankie Montecalvo in car number 12, 126.602. Zachary Robichon is 3rd fastest now in a car number 9, the Porsche, with a 127.1. Also a 27.1 is Robbie Foley in the BMW number 96, and the McLaren car number 76 of Matt Plum in 5th position.
Big moment.
Drive-through penalties for 96, 44, 9, 74 and 76.
Big moment for Christina Nielsen in front of Frankie Montecalvo as she was going in the braking area in the 57. That's the Caterpillar-sponsored MSR Lexus.
Robbie Foley serving that penalty now, but that's going to be the end of his session.
So he had to stayed out and done one more lap.
Yeah.
McLaren is in the pit lane. That's his drive-through. Number 9 has got through. So the number 9 Porsche, Zachary Robichon, has got through, And he's up into second.
Yeah,
and he's got
0.008 only.
Sun's out.
Behind Richard Heisen, yes.
I think the 12 car saw the checkered flag. It did. Frankie Montecalvo, Highstand got through, and Zachary Robichon got through, but nobody else did.
There was an improvement for Montecalvo on that lap, but not enough to move him up ahead of the Porsche. So it's still Lexus, Porsche, Lexus at the moment, and the top two, 14 and 9, are still out on the racetrack.
And they will get these laps. They will get the laps. The plaid car, the checkered number 9 car in the I'm a Lumberjack and I'm OK livery is halfway around the lap.
But that does have to serve its drive-through penalty, and it'll effectively have to do that now, I think, won't it? Because I don't think he'll be able to take the checkered flag and then serve it.
I'd argue that one afterwards.
Well, yes,
if he's up, which I don't think he is, he's not up at the moment. But do you know what? He's not that far away. He was a little bit slower in the first sector. Richard Highstand, no, he's coming in, you're right. Richard Highstand, though, is on a much quicker lap. He's absolutely storming away. He's going to be pole anyway. The question is, how fast can that Lexus go? He's in the final sector now. We're looking across to our left-hand side to pick up the bright yellow and black Bumblebee-style machine. He's in to the carousel. Does he stay out on the track? Yes, he does. He's the last man who can do the last lap. He's already got the number 1 on the side of the car, and he goes through and stops the clock in a 1:24.281. That is 1.6 seconds faster than the field.
And just ahead of him on the road, those were the last 2 cars to take the checkered flag. Just ahead of him on the road was Ben Keating in the number 33 Mercedes. He jumped all the way from 10th to 3rd on that final lap. A great effort by Ben Keating in car number 33, 126.1. He's still 1.8 seconds behind Highstand, but what a brilliant last lap by Ben Keating, taking advantage of that of those conditions on the last lap with the sun poking through. That'll give a good bit more track temperature. The Michelin tyres will have liked that, and Ben Keating did too.
Good fight back from Ben, who remember was off the circuit early on, kept his head, and therefore we've got a Lexus on pole position with a Porsche alongside. Richard Highstand from Zachary Robichon, row 2. Ben Keating from Frank Montecalvo. So both the Lexus in the top 4. Best of the Audis, Will Hardeman, the man from Texas, in the 19 car. Then Robbie Foley in the Turner BMW. That makes up row 3. Row 4, Lamborghini Huracan from Matt Plum, Ryan Hardwick and Matt Plum, 48.76. I tell you what, outside of row 4 for your debut, I think they'll take that all day.
Yeah, particularly ahead of Trent Hinman. I don't know what happened to the Meyer Shank Racing Acuras, because Trent Hinman's down in 9th position, which is extraordinary. I mean, I would have expected him to be one of the favourites for the pole. His teammate Christina Nielsen, well, she's dead last. Well, 14th, because Marco Seifrid, with that penalty, hasn't. Won't have a lap time at all to his name.
Christina was looking. That car was looking very nervous under Christina. The 12 of Frankie Montecalvo was coming up to her down into turn 4, and the car was not happy under braking at all when she was on a fast lap, and Frankie fought his way past her through the S's and down onto Madness. But that was a car that did not look as though it was balanced, particularly under the...
Oops, and Richard Highstand has gone behind the wall. Hang on a second.
Richard Highstand has gone back behind the wall. Waved there by somebody in a red jacket, which he shouldn't have been. And the IMSA officials are looking confused about that. But that car should have gone down to the end of pit lane. That could be a costly mistake for Richard, who put not a wheel wrong in that session. But that car has gone behind the wall, and not sure what we do about this now. Shea Adam, you're waiting patiently for that number 14 Lexus RCF to come down to you. The banner is there for the pole award, but I'm afraid you're not going to get a driver.
Well, we'll see if we can't get him back. I mean, Gar Robinson is still sitting here, so we could just give the pole to him, maybe? Yeah, we'll see if we can't get the Lexus back. I'll keep you posted, though, John.
Very nice new mic flag for Shea Adam down at the end of pit lane. Thank you to Keith and the team for putting those together for us. Lovely stuff. Now, what is going to happen to our pole sitter there then? Because he should have been asked to go to the end of pit lane, and as I say, he was waved behind the wall by a gentleman in a bright red fluorescent jacket, but not an IMSA official, as Shea rightly said.
Correct.
So that is a little matter for discussion. Mercedes AMG being pushed backwards on the pit lane. And, well, a little break in proceedings. Johnny Knotts, our pit lane supervisor and the man who organises all of the parking of the trucks in the days leading up to the event, because all of our IMSA officials do more than one job, because that's the sort of people they are. And I think, Shea Adam, you might have a Richard Highstand without his car, but at least still in his Vassar Sullivan race suit.
With James Sullivan coming along with him as well, one of the team principals there, along with Andrew Bodine and Jimmy Vassar. But hats off there to Richard Highstand. Did a great job on the track, perhaps not so good off it.
Well, Richard Highstand, normally you get to drive here in the car, you get to celebrate that moment of getting out of the Lexus, but this time you decided to do it on foot. Still, very fast car. What's it feel like to be on pole for the first time?
It's great. I mean, obviously it's the first time because I didn't know where to go, so.
Hey, well, you'll know for next time. That's the good news. Lexus was very strong here, got the win last year. Your teammate, Jack Hawksworth, with the pole last year. You just picking up where Lexus left off?
Yeah, I think, it's a great car. I mean, I'm really happy with the lap, but to be honest, I think the car suits the conditions. It turns the tires on pretty quick. And with the track drying, I just had to put together a clean lap. And it's funny, I think when everything's going right, it didn't feel like you did anything that was that hard. And then on days that it's not working, it feels like you're trying so hard and you're not getting anywhere. So, yeah, I'm happy.
The teammate car effectively leading the championship with the points coming in since the race 1 and 2 winners aren't here. You feel like you need to get the attention back on the 14, though?
I think so. They've done a great job in the 12 car, and they're great guys. We felt like we've been really fast, to be honest, in the first couple races. Things just haven't gone our way. And hopefully this weekend we get to show that.
What is it about this track that suits the RCF so well?
I think it's because it's not so hard on the tires. And we have a really quick car. It's really good in the high-speed stuff, and I think that in terms of tire deg, this doesn't have bad tire deg, so I think it's that, but I'm not really entirely sure. It likes it.
Hey, well done today, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Shea Adam with our pole setter, Richard Highstand. There's a name we'll have to remember, Jeremy. I did say I've been very impressed with how he's gone about his work this week. It's not been mistake-free like everybody else. There's been an odd grassy moment, I think, for Richard in the early part, but he's learned, he's got quicker. He was outstanding in the worst of the conditions yesterday, and he put together a couple of very good laps indeed there. Not just one, a couple of 3 very good laps, actually.
That's exactly right. I mean, just hammering it home there with that final lap, taking advantage of the slightly warmer track temperatures on that last lap when the sun, for the first time today, poked out from behind the clouds. And he was able to find a significant improvement. He ends up a full 1.6 seconds clear of Zachary Robichon in the Pfaff Motorsports plaid Porsche car number 9. So it's Lexus, Porsche, Mercedes, Lexus, Audi, BMW, Lamborghini, McLaren, and then the best, surprisingly, the Acura is way down in 9th position. That's really shocking to me to see Trent Hinman so far down the order. And he did improve on his final lap, but a 1:27.7, full 3.4 seconds away from Richard Highstand's pole.
Right, so well done to Richard and to Lexus. They'll be very, very happy indeed about that. The car has come back out onto pit lane. It's been pushed there. A little bit of evidence of a wee bit of damage on the right rear, where there's a nasty scratch on the wrap. But other than that, that car looks immaculate, and Jack Hawksworth will be delighted at the performance of his teammate, who now gets to put the sticker for pole position onto the RCF. That's part of the tradition that IMSA have instituted with their pole awards. So we move focus now to the big brothers and sisters, I suppose, in some ways, of the GT Daytona, GT Le Mans, GTE they'd be called if they were racing at Spa this weekend, which they are indeed, before their trip to Le Mans. And most of our GT Le Mans drivers and teams will be going to Le Mans as well. So Shea is busying down the pit lane to find out which drivers are taking out which of the GT cars. So we'll give you those in just a moment. Apologies if you heard a little bit of colourful language there through the mic flag from Richard, who was camera Mike from Richard, who was just affixing the sticker to the front of the car. Let's start with Corvette here as we go green. Oh, I better fit you up first.
Thank you. It's the M team for Corvette. Milner and Magnussen for the BMWs. That looks like Tom Blomqvist's helmet as he drives out the number 25 BMW. That's the sound of Sebastian Bourdais. Beautiful sideways drift as he tries to get some forward traction in the number 66 Ford GT. And by the way, Joey Hand, if you're listening and watching, we miss you, bud. Get better soon. 67 will be taken out by Ryan Briscoe. For the Porsches, it is Patrick Pilet in the number 911, and it's Larry in the number 912. And for the number 24 BMW, which I think is the only car I haven't yet told you, that would be Mr. Jesse Krohn.
Thank you, Shea. Good stuff spotting helmets at the exit of the pit lane. So the two Corvettes were out quick as a flash. The 24 BMW sits right opposite our IMSA broadcast position on pit lane. They're waiting to see what sort of times are put in. Now, we have seen so many times in the past this GT Le Mans qualifying session, 15 minutes, come down to the last few seconds, or indeed the lap after the time has elapsed. Remember, whilst all of the other categories in IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship racing have a spec Michelin tyre, the GT Le Mans category is an open tyre formula. There are only Michelins out there at the moment, but that is by choice of the teams. There's not another manufacturer in there right now, but they also have a much wider choice of tyres. And each of the teams have their own Michelin tyre technician to help them make the best and most informed decision. This year in IMSA, these cars are running on the same compound or have the choice of the same compounds and constructions of Michelin tyre as the FIA World Endurance Championship over in Europe and at Le Mans. And that has meant a little bit of work because they are not necessarily the same compounds and constructions that they had at the tracks last year. So this is effectively been a bit of a voyage of discovery. And these are by far, Jeremy Shaw, the best conditions that we've had, with a little bit of sunshine, putting some UV into the track and a drying track. And Shea, what are the track temperatures from our friends at Michelin?
Thanks to Tony Tizzino, ambient is 55 degrees Fahrenheit, so we've come up 10 degrees since the cars were out this morning. The track temperature, though, only 62, which means it's going to be hard to get the heat in the tires.
But still, by far, Jeremy, the best conditions that these guys have seen all week.
Yeah, no question. And the fastest times by far we saw with this morning in that earlier practice session, where Shea was just telling us it's considerably cooler, but the fastest time was set by Ryan Briscoe at 1 minute 20.1. The lap record, the qualifying lap record around here, was set last year by John Edwards in the BMW at a 1:17.8. So I don't know whether that'll be under threat, because it's still pretty, the track is still pretty green, not an awful lot of rubber laid down.
Take a good look as the number 3 rumbles past us. Possibly the last time that we'll see the C7R here at Mid-Ohio, with the new car due to come on stream, possibly as early as later in the season, are the rumours that we've been picking up from the paddock. And what about Ford? Ford here in the US, likely to continue? Question mark. But certainly not expecting to see those cars as works cars at Le Mans after this year. And indeed the 66 car, if you take a very close look and compare to the 67 running in the livery we've been used to this last couple of seasons, with the darker and more metallic colours of the red and blue on the white background. The 66 a little lighter, a little brighter. That is in some ways a heritage livery, because that is the way the car won Le Mans in 2016. Subtle difference to the tones of those cars, but that is one of what we're led to believe are going to be 4 special liveries for the Ford GT Works cars at Le Mans this year in June. And we also know, of course, that Ben Keating is taking a car for GTE AM, and that car will run in the Wins colours, so that's going to look spectacular as well. So, Vantour, Magnussen, Conor De Filippi, Patrick Pilet, Bourdais and Krohn battling it out. And Jan Magnussen is the first to rumble through past us and put in a competitive time. Here comes his teammate Tommy Milner, he's gone through, just a couple of the ticks of the clock behind. That was a Porsche going past us. You can't miss the sound of that. But none of them have yet eclipsed the Richard Highstand time in the Lexus RCF, but we've got still the better part, Jeremy Shaw, of 10 minutes left.
Yeah, plenty of time here, and as you were saying earlier on, these cars will continue to build temperature into these tyres. They will get faster, they will get grippier, they'll burn off some fuel. There's a huge sideways slide there for the number 911 car. That was Patrick Pilet coming out of the keyhole turn. Again, there's a little bit of moisture creeping across the track there. Most of it has been kind of burned away now, but every now and again there's a little catch out these drivers. You can certainly, we can see on the pictures, it's still a significant amount of moisture.
He's done well to catch that, Jeremy.
That's going to not only be a deterrent to putting the power down there, but it's also going to cost them definitely quite a bit of straight line speed.
Yes, because you can't get on the throttle early enough. It's going to cool the tyres down a little bit, but you're going down a straight anyway, so that's not particularly important, but it's just the lack of grip at the exact moment that you want to be squeezing the power in. No traction control on these cars.
Yeah, and the tendency there is to put on opposite lock when you come off, when the car slides sideways there, but if you do that, you run the risk of the front end grabbing and turning you sharp left, which is exactly what happened to Marco Seefried in the GT3 in the GTD car a little earlier in this qualifying session.
Yeah, no ABS on these cars. There is, of course, traction control, but they'll have it turned down as much as possible for qualifying because they'll want to feel what the car is doing. 25 goes through the BMW and goes to the top.
Time, yeah, 122.593 for Conor De Filippi in car number 25. His teammate not yet fully up to speed, Jesse Krohn. He was the last car to come out of the pit lane, and he's still not up to speed. He's just completed he's on his third flying lap now, so getting significantly quicker, but not yet to where he needs to be. Number 67 Ford, that's its best lap so far. Ryan Briscoe, 124.2, so that's still 1.6 seconds away from Conor De Filippi's best. The two Corvettes are coming up towards the final corner now. They are on significantly faster laps.
Jan is looking good. He'll go back to the top with this one. 7.5 minutes to go, halfway through the session. Crosses the line, wait for the time. Yeah, it's a 1:21. And here comes his teammate, Tom Milner. Yeah. He crossed the line now, right in front of us, and he goes up to second place. So it's a yellow wash on the front row.
He does, but De Filippi is purple in both of the first two sectors. In the first sector by over 0.2 of a second. The second sector, nearly half a second. So Conor De Filippi in car number 25
goes to the top.
He's on a great lap, and there he goes. Yeah, so 121.235, so 7/10 clear is the original California, lives now in North Carolina, but Conor De Filippi.
He's got a problem now because he's got Lawrence Vantour right ahead of him, and whilst he get a little bit of a draft from the Porsche going up the hill, I don't think he'll want that car in front of him through the twisties, and I think he's just backed off a little bit there to give himself some room. No need for that for Jan Magnussen, first man out, and has yet to catch anybody. He's had clear track in front of him, and is now getting confident enough to use the curves around the corners, particularly the exit curves. Those are the ones you've got to be careful. You can use the inside. If you move out a little bit, that's not so bad, but if you're wet on the outside curve, you're going to spear off into the grass. He's into the carousel now. He's on another decent lap.
Great lap. Purple in sector 1, personal best in sector 2 for the number 3 Corvette.
Cross the line, Jeremy, does he improve?
Yes, he does. A 120.750 for Jan Magnussen in car number 3. That bests De Filippi by about half a second. And as you said, Conor has slowed up on this lap. He's given himself some space. Still just under 6 minutes remaining in this session, so plenty of time. Purple for Sebastian Bourdais in the middle sector. In car number 66, he's currently in the 7th position out of 8 in GTLM at the moment, and the final car in the ranking at the moment, Jesse Krohn in car number 24, he's just got purple in sector 1, fractionally quicker than Jan Magnussen.
So Jeremy, last 5.5 minutes, BMW number 24, Jesse Krohn, last man out of the pit, coming through now on a decent lap for him as he crests the rise into Thunder Valley, and now he's looking for his clipping point further ahead, looking towards turn 12. It's been treacherous on the just on the apex there, but he's got through it nicely and now sets the car up for the carousel, favours the tight turn and holding on to the inside, doesn't swing out to the left. Here he comes. There was a big puddle there yesterday. He's crossed the line in front of us and goes through. Does he improve?
Yes, he
does.
fastest.
Goes to fastest.
Last to first.
And that was all down to the best final sector. And Jan Magnussen's improved again. 0.033 of a second. Magnussen has provisional pole. Milner's gone through. Does he bounce back to the top? No, he does not. But he's in third, and the top three is separated by 0.3 of a second. The top
Sebastian
five by
Bourdais
6.
is flying, absolute flying. Purple in sector 1 by 1/10 of a second over the current pole sitter. Fastest in sector 2 by over 2/10 over Jan Magnussen. This is a great lap from Sebastian Bourdais. He's coming into the carousel turn now, heading toward the checkered flag.
Cross the line, red number 4 on the side. That's going to change, I think, here, and it'll change to a red number 1 by the time he goes through turn 1, and does so. That is a quality lap by Bourdais, subbing again for Joey Hahn. Joey, we miss you, fella. I know you'll be watching this. Get well soon. If all of our good wishes in this paddock could heal you, you'd be back on your feet in no time.
All 8 cars have improved on sector 1 on the lap they are on right now, so times are just getting faster and faster. A great lap by Bourdais, 4/10 clear of the rest of the pack, and the rest of them are covered by, well, most of them by just 2 or 3/10 of a second. But Bourdais again goes purple in sector 1 on this next lap. 3.5 minutes remaining. Across the line goes the Corvette, car number 3, Jan Magnussen. He was slower in the final sector, but he did improve overall. 20.3 for Magnussen. Tommy Milner across the line, he does not improve. 120.9 his best, 6th fastest. The Porsches now 7th and 8th in the order. Well, briefly, Pilet goes to 4th in 911 and into 2nd place for Lawrence Vantour in number 912.
It's not going to be enough because Bourdais on another quick one. He's already back with us, Jeremy. Look to your left. Here he comes across the line. It's going to be a sub 120. It is. It's well into the 19s. It's a 119.6. And now we're getting down into big boy numbers.
We are. We're still a better part of 2 seconds away from the pole record set last year by John Edwards. So there's certainly time out there somewhere, perhaps.
2 more laps to go, I reckon, here, Jeremy.
Yep, and everybody again on this lap has improved in sector 1 except for Ryan Briscoe. Must have made a mistake out there somewhere. He lost himself 3 or 4/10 compared to everybody else. Lawrence Vantour purple in sector 1.
He's throwing the Porsche around. They've spread out beautifully on the track as through goes through Jesse Krohn, and he goes to 2nd. But that's not going to stay there for long as through goes Magnussen. Remember, he was the first guy out, and Magnussen bounces back up to only a 3rd, though. The gains now are becoming more marginal. It's not big lumps of time. Here comes Tom Milner. Has he improved? He's sitting in 8th in the minute. Yes, he goes to 6th, but here comes Vantour.
It's now Ford, BMW, Chevrolet, Porsche. All 4 manufacturers fill in the top 4 positions.
Through goes the 911. Vantour. Here comes Pilet, and Vantour goes to the top. That's a 19.5, so still less than a 10th between 1st and 2nd. 2/10 between the top 3, and half a second will take you down to 6th position. Marvellous stuff. Absolutely marvellous. Bourdais back to the top. 19.4. And in this context, a 10th and a half is a big gap, and he was right on the ragged edge of adhesion through turn 1, so I expect to see him improve again on this lap. These Michelins are doing great work. The cars are getting lighter, the track's getting warmer, but still, they're delivering. This is proper qualifying. Can we have this every week, please?
There's an improvement there for Ryan Briscoe in the 2nd of the Fords, but he moves only up 1 position from 8th to 7th in the number 67 car. It's the 66 that leads the way, though, with Sebastian Bourdais.
Bourdais still on it, Jeremy.
Well, no, he's not. He's just lifted off, I think, a little bit because he was a full 2nd down as he went through sector 1.
But this will
be his final lap, so he will not improve on this lap. Drivers who are improving on this lap, Patrick Pilet and Patrick Pilet.
Magnussen's just improved, and he will get 1 more lap. Magnussen will get 1 more lap. 29 seconds to go.
All of a sudden.
Here comes the Porsches. So 912's gone through. So Patrick will get, Vantour will get another lap. Pilet will get another lap. And Vantour just cooled his tyres a little bit. Pilet's on one here. Oh, loses it. loses the back end in turn 1 and is lucky to stay on the track. That's that lap gone. He must know it's gone now.
Okay, so Bourdais did get across the line before the checkered flag comes out. Nobody else will. So Bourdais will be the last car on the racetrack.
Fantastic driving from Pilet, right on the ragged edge through turn 1, back into the car, breaking away on turning. He was really pushing there. Right, first person to see the checkered flag is Ryan Briscoe, and he's in third position. But he'd be no better than third, but that is a good improvement. He's down into the 19s, 19.7 for the Ford number 67. He's finished. Jesse Krohn, last man out, now in third, 19.6 for the 24 BMW. There goes the Corvette of Jan Magnussen. Doesn't improve, will be no better than 6th place.
Yeah, Tommy Milner is on the better lap. He's improved in sectors 1 and 2 in number 4 Corvette. He comes toward the checkered flag and jumps all the way up to 4th.
By the way, going up into third, Jesse Krohn had the best final sector of anybody. There goes Lawrence Vantour, and he's provisionally on pole position as he's stolen it away from Bourdais. Bourdais yet to come around. And Bourdais got the fastest middle sector. He's right out to the yellow. Hash marks on the edge. Goes through and steals it back by 2 3/4 tenths and almost gets into the 18s. 1:19, 1:24, number 66. 2016 livery Ford on pole position for Seabass ahead of Lawrence Vantour, who did a great job for Porsche. And all 4 manufacturers are in the top 4 with one of their cars. Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah, that was seriously good fun, that qualifying session, wasn't it? Absolutely thrilling. A great lap by Sebastian Bourdais to put that car on pole position and ahead by almost 3/10 of a second over Lawrence Vantour, who had a really good run in the Porsche there. Jesse Krohn, what a good run for him. But that number 24 car, that was a car that started on the pole here 1 year ago when John Edwards qualified it, but still a top 3 qualifying effort for Jesse Krohn. He'll take that. A really good final lap by Tommy Milner to put his teammate Jan Magnussen in the shade by a couple of tenths of a second. That's the difference between 4th and 7th on the grid.
The top 2, Jeremy, only failed to improve their lap times on their penultimate laps. Every other lap they went faster.
Yeah.
Somebody clip that last 15, 16 minutes and put it there. That's how you do qualifying. Take a bow IMSA, take a bow the teams, take a bow Michelin. That is a tyre that has gone hard for over 15 minutes of qualifying. As the cars have become lighter, as they've burned off their racing fuel, the tyres were still durable enough with the quality of drivers that we've got here to continue the improvement. Now the track's evolving as well. I absolutely take that, but all of the other ingredients have to be there for that recipe to work, and work it has done and delivered us a dish of absolute exquisite taste and richness. Shea Adam will get the opportunity to speak to Seabass, Sebastian Bourdais. He'll pull into the far end of the pit lane, and that's Heritage livery back to the 1966, I nearly said, the 2016 Le Mans winning livery for this 66 car, one of what we're led to believe will be 4 liveries, special liveries for the works cars for what is probably their last outing at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And Seabass has done the deed. He doesn't even look tired, does he? It's just like, no, this is what I do, this is my job. Shea Adam is down at pit out to speak to our GT Le Mans pool today.
It is his job to be as incredibly fast as he possibly can, and for the Ford GT driver, as he is this weekend, and has been for every IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship race so far in 2019, not too bad for a substitute. If you've got to pick a driver to stick in your car, Sebastian Bourdais is definitely somebody who's got a good enough resume to fill that in, and Sebastian, not a bad start for the throwback livery that you'll be taking to France in about a month's time. Congratulations on your first pole position, and how's it feel?
It feels great. I mean, the guys did a really good job, and you know, it's tricky conditions. Like, we didn't really get good reads this morning, and it was wet again to start with. So really happy that we came out on top. Really proud of all the guys, and you know, Ford gave us a great car, so couldn't be any happier.
It was really enjoyable for us to watch you go out there and thrash the car around. A good qualifying car, clearly, but how's it going to be in the race?
We've got no clue, right? I mean, we didn't get any chances to run high tanks and tire deck, and tomorrow's going to be sunny too, so the whole tire complexion is going to be different. But you know, those Michelin tires tend to be very durable on that Ford GT, so hopefully we'll be in even better shape than everybody else.
You were saying at Long Beach just how weird it was to be driving the closed cockpit car, that it was just different to go to Long Beach when it's in a sports car. Mid-Ohio, though, what's it like when you're racing here, IndyCar versus sports car?
Yeah, you want to be careful with the braking points, that's for sure. But you know, overall, I tested here after the crash in 17, and so I knew what I was getting myself into, and it kind of worked out, and which was a good thing, because really with the conditions we had I not been in the car before, I think it would have been a bit more of a struggle. But you know, I've been running around here quite a bit, so I think I know my way around. And it was interesting in the rain. Whatever worked in IndyCar was working in the GT too. So yeah, I guess experience still means something.
We're sure that Joey's watching back at home. Do you have any message for him?
Well, I mean, I hope we did you proud, buddy. I mean, we're trying hard to get that 66 to the front, and looks like that retro livery is.
As Dirk Mueller comes in.
That retro livery is working better than the one that we had at Daytona, so we'll stick on to this one.
Yeah. Hey, Joey, he looks pretty comfy.
Yeah, very comfy indeed.
Yeah.
Paul sitting 66 car in that 2016 Le Mans winning livery that formed part of a 4-car set, we're led to believe.
And another string to his bow there for Sebastian Bourdais. His first GT pole in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. Did start on the pole in the overall in the DP cars in 2014 at Sebring. But other than that, this is just his second pole, and congratulated there by Dirk Mueller. These two will make a difficult combination to beat, I think, tomorrow afternoon. They're going to be starting in the best possible position, and they'll certainly be looking to hold on to that.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategic race for the GT Le Mans cars, because they, I think, are around about, they could run around about an hour, both of the GT cars. So that's easily a 2-stop race if we go green all the way, which is not unheard of here. The choice for all the GT runners will be whether they effectively break the race up into 3 roughly similar stints, or whether they go long in one stint and short in another. And given that track position is so important here, using a short stint and a short fill to get track position might be the way to go. But the question is, when will that happen? We'll run you through that in our Michelin Countdown to Green tomorrow, and our Porsche Keys to the Race, when we've interrogated a few more people down in the pit lane. Right, overall pole position, should everything go to plan, should be one of the prototypes.
Well, yes, I'm sure. But what's interesting about this now, Sebastian Bourdais, he's substituting here for Joey Hand. The other kind of substitute from the IndyCar ranks into the sports car ranks this weekend is Ryan Hunter-Reay. He's going to be driving one of the Mazdas, car number 55, sharing with Jonathan Bomarito, with Harry Tincknell, otherwise indisposed at Spa. So can Ryan Hunter-Reay maintain this streak of form for the IndyCar drivers moving into sports cars? We will see. This is going to be a fascinating qualifying session.
So, would you like to know who some of the drivers that you'll be talking about are? Because we've got in the 2 cars up at the head of the grid, the number 31 is Pipo Durrani, taking qualifying duties for the Whelen Engineering, and for the 5, it is Joao Barbosa for the Mustang Sampling. We've got last year's pole sitter, Elio Castroneves, in the number 7 Acura Team Penske, and Dane Cameron in the number 6. For Wayne Taylor Racing, it is Renger van Zande who gets qualifying duties there, so the bright yellow helmet, you can't miss it, and it's birthday boy John Bennett in the Nissan. He's turning 54 today, and that matches the car's number. That's the only reason I would ever reveal his age. Nothing else for that. And it's 5-4. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Simon Trummer in the number 84 Cadillac will be taking up the duties for JDC Miller Motorsports, and Misha Goikberg in the number 85, this sister car. And as the engines have fired, I can tell you about the Mazdas just as soon as I get down there. The number 55 is the first car I see, but I can't quite see the helmet in there. Ollie Jarvis is definitely in the 77. You can't miss his bright helmet. That is Ryan Hunter-Reay in the 55. So, can the substitutes complete the swing? And the Juncos Cadillac can't quite see down there because too many crew members blocking my view. But yeah, that's all your qualifying drivers.
Right, we'll pick that up as soon as we can, Shea. Thank you, as they go out. 15 minutes on the clock. Stand by for action. Prototype qualifying And the overall pole sitter should be from among these cars. Remember, we've got 2 different prototype categories now, with LMP2 sitting as a separate class and having BOP'd down there. Well, actually, the DPIs have been allowed to go a bit quicker, is the truth of it. Green flag, everybody heads to the acceleration lane, and out first of all the 2 Action Express cars. They do like to be first out, first in the queue, and they, of course, through their championship positions, are well up the pit lane, and it's the Whelen Engineering bright red car that is out first of all. And that is Pippo Derani, and already Acura number 7, Elio Castroneves, is picking his way through the traffic. Huge sideways slide from Pippo, just getting the feel of the grip levels coming out of turn 2, weaving left and right down through the kink at turn 3.
And as the cars come out of turn 2, we can see once again
something came off the Whelen car there. Something, there was bodywork or something either came off or was thrown up by the Whelen car, definitely red, and flicked up into the front. Now, where did that come from? I don't think there was there a touch? There was a touch. Elio Castroneves has run straight into the back of the Whelen car.
Well, the Whelen car was kind of weaving around there, and Castroneves didn't anticipate that.
That's
going to
be a
contact
new
between the 2.
Well, that's it. That's it for the Penske. You can't touch the car, so they can't put a new nose on.
It's the pole sitter from last season, from last year as well, was Elio Castroneves.
I took my eyes away for a moment, and well, people slowing down on the racing line, going through 3, but that was the point where he wasn't waving around oddly, and maybe that's what caught out Elio Castroneves, who's gone through with a broken nose. Well, not him, the car. And how will that affect the complicated aerodynamics on the front of that Acura Team Penske? But Castroneves will be absolutely fuming about that.
Yes, he will.
Dangerous things to do on an outlap.
What I was going to say there was that coming out of the keyhole turn, with that gap between the GTLM session and the DPIs, or the prototype session, that small river of water that was running down from the inside of the racetrack across the road there has kind of reformed during that gap. So it's not a constant river, but it's kind of a slow trickle of water, and it's going to take some time for that to be burned off the racetrack. So it's going to be really slippery for several laps here before that water is kind of washed away, if you like, or burned away even from these Michelin tyres.
John Bennett using the pit lane as a means of finding a bit of space on the racetrack. Now, the other question is, of course, front of the Elio Castroneves Acura damaged, what's that done to the back of Pippo's car? Nothing worse than losing a bit of diffuser at the back of the car. It does affect. I now can't decide then whether that was a bit of Acura that was bright orange or slightly less bright red from the Whelen Engineering car. Well, Pippo's gone off on a lap anyway and goes down into the 16, so 1:16.1, 1:18.9 for Elio Castroneves. So those guys immediately quicker than the GT Le Mans cars, so that's the first performance parameter that we always look for.
The Mazdas were sent out considerably after
Very
everybody
late,
else,
yeah.
but I noticed one of them, we didn't see actually which one it was pretty close behind by the end of that lap, Pippo Derani. Yeah, so
I think that was the 55.
how well managed that was.
I think that was Ryan Hunter-Rear.
It was Pippo Derani went to the top of the charts on that first flying lap with a 1:16.1. He's purple again on each of the first 2 sectors on this lap.
Good driving by John Bennett, who had Derani coming up behind Derani. A couple of flashes of the light, but John had already seen him, and Durrani's going to improve again. He'll be down into the low 15s, I think, on this one. 1:16.1 he has. Oh no, way quicker than that. 1:13.7. 1:13.7, and Castroneves has just gone through as a 1:15.0.
And 1:13.7, that's quicker than last year's race lap record, which was 1:13.8, set by Stephen Simpson in a P2 car. And Derani just set the car, rear end of the car just stepped out of line once again on that dampness on the exit of the keyhole turn. The fastest lap this morning in the best conditions we've had so far this weekend. The only time the cars have been out there in a full drive was a 1:12.7. That was by Elio Castroneves. And Castroneves now the best he's done in this session so far, in the 2 flying laps he's done, and a lot more to come, of course, is a 15.0.
Aerodynamicists the world over are head in hands at the moment because Pipo Derani with a flapping rear deck and Elio Castroneves with a nose that is not how it was designed for aero. I was going to say first or second, but Dane Cameron's just popped into second position. Derani's on another quick lap, but he's not got traffic either. So he was fastest again in sector 1. He looked pretty aggressive through sector 2. Where's he gone?
He's just gone past at a 12.3, but for some reason the sectors 2 and 3 didn't show up.
Right, so that is another facet. I wonder if he's lost the transponder when he got pinged there. Normally you'd put the transponder on the front door,
the
not
sectors
the
are
back.
showing up now.
All right, okay. So 3 more purple sectors for Pipo Derani. Ollie Jarvis jumps to second for Mazda in the number 77. Remember, they were third here last year. This is a track that they like. Ollie already through the keyhole, over the slippery part. Oh, goodness, every time that must make your heart stop.
Renger van der Zande briefly to 3rd place, but he's just been eclipsed by both Simon Trummer, who goes up into 3rd, or was 3rd, but now Will Owen for Juncos Racing, car number 50, the Cadillac, a 1:13.9, second quickest for Will Owen.
This is great again. This again with 8.5 minutes to go.
So that
I just wonder if these guys, low deg circuit, that means the tyres don't lose a lot of performance. I wonder if this might be a full 15-minute run for all of these guys, Jeremy, and this again could be last man out gets pole.
I think so, and that 12.3 last time around for Pipo Derani, that is the quickest lap of the weekend so far.
Here comes Castroneves, past us, 3rd position as he went past us, 2nd position now, and down to .053. That's the closest anybody's been to Pipo Derani since we went green, other than when they came together on the back straight and traded carbon fibre.
And Pipo was purple in sector 2 on that last lap, but lost a bit of time in the final sector, did Derani in car number 31, but he is still fastest. He did not improve on that lap. It was a 1 minute 12.372 against the 1:12.314 he set the lap before. And Elio Castroneves, he's just .053 behind in 2nd position in car number 7. Oliver Jarvis remains 3rd, 4/10 off the best of the
What about the other
front,
Mazda
but
though? Ryan Hunter-Reay, 5th position in qualifying, and he's barely a second away from Pipo Derani in his first time in the car. That's brilliant stuff.
purple sector 1 for car number 77, Oliver Jarvis, 27.9. That's the first sub 28 lap in this session. This lap is not a quick one for Pipo
Hunter-Reay's going to
Derani.
improve. Hunter-Reay's coming round nicely in the 55 car as he heads towards the line. He's got clear track ahead of him. That dark red Soul Crystal metallic is... It's sometimes when we get a bit of direct sunshine, it almost looks black. Big slide in the middle
Oliver
of the carousel.
Jarvis goes to the top of the charts. Hit car number 77. He timed that well because he's just come up behind a couple of slower cars as he headed into turn 1, but he'd already done the deed by that stage. A 1:12.073 for Oliver Jarvis, car number 77.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay went up briefly into 4th position, but Elio's just knocked him back one as well. At 11.6 for Dane Cameron. First into the 11s, the Acura DPI with Dane Cameron. That's the Penske run car. 4/10 of a second now between first and second. It wasn't so long ago I was saying it was 4/10 over the top 6.
Yeah, and a new lap record there for Dane Cameron, but Elio Castroneves, he's on a good lap as well now. He's just gone purple in sector 1. He's about almost a 1/10 of a second quicker than Dane Cameron. Pipo Derani has gone purple in sector 2 in the Cadillac. It's Acura, Mazda, Cadillac, the top 3 at the moment.
And it's not over yet. Do not think that you can turn away a little bit of dirt and grass on the front end of the Mustang sampling. Number 5, there's Derani up into 2nd position by .066 of a second. So 2 drivers in the 111s. Dane Cameron for Acura and Pipo Derani for Cadillac. Who was that just swept through? Is that another improvement? No, it wasn't. That was Ollie Jarvis going through. Elio Castroneves, he's just gone through.
He lifted off on the final couple of sectors. He might have made a mistake in the middle sector, having gone purple in sector 1 for Castroneves, so backed it off a little bit. But Oliver Jarvis, he's still got some traffic ahead of him on the way.
He's just cleared it.
Just got cleared it. Okay,
just
fine.
cleared it. I think it was Schwab. Oh, no,
I think it was another
through now.
38 car. I think it was Kyle Masson,
Correct.
who had just improved himself quickest in P2.
Check Schwab Barbosa's last sector time there, because I think he might have had a little sideways moment and dropped some time in turn 11 and 12.
Lost 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's done well to keep that car
Well, it was
going.
a slow lap all the way around, actually, for Barbosa. He lifted right off there on that lap to give himself either some space and or...
Shea just saying in my ear, she thought she saw him rotate as well.
Right.
So we've got again a little bit of traffic. Castroneves catching people as they come down towards the final part of the track. Under 5 minutes to go, and it was indeed the 38 Kyle Masson Orica who's leading LMP2 at the moment, by the way. The dark grey cars, they cross the line now. Castroneves will dive down the inside.
Look, he was flying again, but he caught that traffic at just the wrong time in the final corner, did Castroneves. He did not time that lap well, and it cost him time in the final set. He'd been purple in Sector 1, personal best in Sector 2, but lost time in the final part of that lap coming through the carousel.
Still
improved. Still
improved down to a 12.3.
Yeah, but it should have been a good bit better, I think.
Oh dear, there's been side-to-side contact between Dane Cameron and John Bennett.
No.
Coming to, sorry, no, not John Bennett. That was the 52. Eric, yeah. That was Eric Lux in the 52, the second of the Oricas. A little bit of after you, Claude, and it didn't kind of work out. 77, Mazda. Ollie Jarvis on a personal best at the moment as he is heading into Thunder Valley now and coming through the second half of the track with an absolutely clear run to the checkered flag, to the line from here.
And a great run through that middle sector track. He was purple in Sector 2 as Oliver Jarvis, he comes up to the carousel. Still 3.5 minutes remaining.
And there's still clearly plenty of life in these Michelin tyres. Crosses the line. Where does he go? He goes to provisional pole.
Wow, what a lap.
0.006. We're nearly down into the 1 minute 10s. 70 seconds for a lap round 2.25 miles here at Mid-Ohio. That is not hanging about. And there is the first 10. Dane Cameron, 1 minute 10.8, back to the top. Penske determined to hold on to this pole position. Dane Cameron in the number 6.
Great laps from both of those two. 2/10 between them now, between Cameron, who leads away, and car number 6 for Acura. His teammate Elio Castroneves, he's down now in 4th position. He's gone faster on this, going faster on this lap is Castroneves.
And so is Ollie Jarvis. This is going to come down to who gets across the line last. Now this is, nobody here is artificially putting this together. It's not like, you know, where you wait and wait and wait in the pit lane and then go out to do one final lap like you see in some Formula racing. This has been 15 minutes of absolutely high attack, full throttle qualifying, and we've still got 2 minutes to go.
Durrani in the pits in car number 3 in 3rd position. He's not going to improve upon that, but where can Jarvis go?
Jarvis he's going to be down in the 7s, isn't he? Yes, he is. 10-7. 10-7, and for the first time, no. So that's points 1-0-1-0. He was actually cutting grass on the far side of the circuit to try and just shorten the run between 9 and 10. He had his right side Michelins in the dandelions.
Brilliant that by Oliver Jarvis. That really was impressive. Ryan Hunter-Reay's teammate is down in 5th position at the moment.
Quicker again.
He goes purple in Sector 1, does Oliver Jarvis.
In the pits. Yes, he did. Durrani stayed in the pit. Slight mistake for the Acura at turn 1. Oh my goodness, that's very dangerous there. Remember, that was Dane Cameron, was it, that went through there? Or was that Elio? No, that was Elio. Remember, it was the late and much missed Justin Wilson who did that in an IndyCar there and hurt himself quite badly going over that access road, one of the options for the track. Looks like the
Acura Jarvis got away again. This is faster. Purple in Sector 1, personal best in Sector 2. He comes to the start finish line now, and he does improve. It's a 10.705 now.
But only just as Elio Castroneves goes through with a 10.727. We have got 3 cars within a 1/10 of a second at the top of the field. 77, 7 and 6. Mazda and then the 2 Acuras. Ollie Jarvis has been plugged in and given the full 10,000 volt treatment. He is absolutely on a tear here. It was these two teams, remember, Jeremy, who dominated the podium last year, Acura and Mazda, and they were going flat out at it in qualifying as well. This is almost a carbon copy, and Jarvis is on another quick one. He's taken just about a 10th out of Elio Castroneves in the first sector, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they both improved in the first sector on this lap, but purple again for Jarvis. This is a great battle as the time is running out now, just 4 seconds to go.
Jarvis has backed off. Jarvis has backed right off.
Okay.
The checkered flag is out, and he was on it.
Is he out of fuel?
Oh, I wonder if
bet
he
he's
is.
out of fuel.
He's out of fuel and sweeping around. Here comes the 7. Elio Castroneves.
This is going to be close.
It's going to be close to losing the pole on the last lap. Here comes Castroneves, crosses the line, goes across the line. Does he improve? He does.
He lost a bit of time. No, he didn't improve, Castroneves, and I bet the reason for that was going into turn 12. The Mazda was on the inside line there. Castroneves had to go a little bit wide around the outside at turn 12. I think that's probably what cost him.
Ollie Jarvis, purple in 1, best sector for him in 2, even though he's run out of fuel, and he's come to a stop now in his pit box. I'm pretty certain he's out of fuel. I think he came in dead stick, and a huge sideways moment for Castroneves as he came through turn number 12 as Ollie Jarvis, with literally no power, I think, from that 4-cylinder engine, and a huge save as Castroneves had to modify his line. Now, can they get the car up to see Shea? I'm not even certain. They can't touch that car. They could push it. They would be allowed to push it,
after the checkered flag, maybe.
After the checkered flag, which
it's
is now out.
It's uphill from where they are to...
It's now out. And there's nobody else out there. Confirmed then, Ollie Jarvis on pole position for our race on Sunday, the Acura Sports Car Challenge. 1 in the eye for Penske and Acura here at Honda's home ground, as Mazda, their long-time Japanese rivals, have taken pole position. First blood to the blood red cars, and the man with the blood red helmet, Ollie Jarvis, has got pole position for Mazda Team Yost.
So Mazda, Acura, the best of the Cadillacs. Pipo Derani, he was in the pits several minutes ago. An improvement for Joao Barbosa on that final lap in car number 5. He'd moved himself up from, I think he was in 8th position, up to 5th then in car number 5. So he will have a good starting position right behind his Action Express teammate on the grid, but more than half a second behind him in terms of time. So the best of the Cadillacs is a full second behind the Mazda on 1 lap pace.
Confirmed. His teammate Tristan Nunez there as well, and hugs all round down on the pit lane. Well, Jeremy, that again, any one of those 3 qualifying sessions today, absolutely brilliant and a perfect way to do it. Let's just, for the sake of probity, tell you that Kyle Masson got LMP2 pole for the 38, and I think that's is that the first pole for the 38? Certainly first pole for Kyle Masson, yeah. So well done to him, and finishes 11th, but first in LMP2. But the headlines overnight, at least, have been written by Mazda Team Yost and by Ollie Jarvis, the Englishman, in the number 77 car. What a run that was. What a battle that was between that single Mazda and the 2 Acuras behind. And I've got to say, Pipo Derani played his part, as did Joao Barbosa and Ryan Hunter-Reay, with the top 6 duking it out at various stages, Jeremy Shaw, before the checkered flag fell.
It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? The purple sector 1 for the Mazda for Oliver Jarvis, purple sector 2 for the Acura of Elio Castroneves, purple sector 3 for Dane Cameron in the number 6. Acura ended up in 3rd position, so I think it just shows how closely matched those 3 cars were.
Do you know what? I know this wasn't planned, and the 4-cylinder Mazda just about got Ollie to the pit box, but it's the team that are going to get him to the presentation area, uphill to the end of pit lane. And this is a very, very great shot of that all the photographers are going to get of the whole team participating in how they got the pole position. Whilst we're waiting for Ollie to come up, let's hear from our pole-sitting LMP2 driver, Kyle Masson.
Kyle just climbing out of the car. His team also pushing him up the pit lane, up to this area, but thankfully for the Performance Tech crew, they had a lot shorter of a distance to go, and that comes off the back of leading the LMP2 Championship coming into this weekend. But keep in mind, for Kyle Masson, he's got his fair share of IMSA wins already. He's been a North American Endurance Champion in terms of this series, but first pole position. Kyle, how does this feel?
It feels really good. You know, we had a strong race car last year. We came to this weekend, it's been wet, tough conditions, not much time to really focus on anything, but we went off of the knowledge that we had last year and capitalized on it, and we're able to improve the car regardless of the fact that we didn't really have any sessions or times to put it together, and the team did a great job doing that. And it's really cool to be here. We have Be The Match out here, and Quentin O'Donnell, who's here, going to call the race start with the PC Prototype Challenge class, and so it's awesome to just have a great weekend.
Congratulations, Kyle. Good to see you finally up front.
Thank you.
Well, the Mazda is being pushed up there. John Doonan, man at the head of Mazda Sport, Mazda Speed, is walking up, and this is the whole team from the 77 crew pushing this car up to the head of the grid. This is a beautiful symmetry to this. I know they didn't plan to run out of fuel. I know they didn't plan for Ollie not to drive this car up, but to have the whole team putting him in the presentation area is absolutely marvellous. Ollie Jarvis climbs out, gives John Doonan a big hug. Shea Adam is down there live for IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Shea?
Well, Ollie, you certainly know how to make our pulse race and how to make the goosebumps come out, not just because the weather is a little bit cool. When did you know that you were going to run out of fuel?
I didn't. I was on a good lap, so I was pushing hard. I knew it was close, so I kept pushing, and it literally just died on me two corners from the end. So, I mean, I thought that could have cost us pole. More importantly, we got the car back to the pits, but just a big thank you to the whole team. You know, this has been a tough weekend so far, but to come out and stick it on pole, absolutely delighted. I mean, this man, he put so much effort in, and so do the guys and girls back at base. So, yeah, this is a big one for us.
Well, and I love that it's literal effort to get you here, because the crew having to push the car up, that means you get to celebrate with all your guys now and here at this pit box. What's it mean for them to get another pole position?
Yeah, this one's massive. I think Daytona, we're headed into Daytona. We knew we had good pace. I think coming here, we knew the Penske's are going to be really strong. They showed that last year, and you know, with the performance adjustments. And then to come here, I think the weather's helped us because nobody's had dry running. And I think we've come with such superb preparation. And all the work we do before the race, it's just meant we've been able to hit the ground running. But yeah, I gave that one everything. There wasn't much more in it.
Congratulations, Ollie.
Thank you very much.
And a quick word with John Doonan as well, because John, of course, Mazda, on your heart, literally. You come here, you don't expect to get the pole position. What's it like when all of a sudden you do?
Well, it was pretty exciting on the box, except when Ollie said the engine died, but thrilled for the team. We don't get here without Multimatic. We don't get here without Michelin. The guys up in Toronto have done a ton of work on the simulator. Both couple of drivers were up there getting ready all week, but this is big for us. This place, Mid-Ohio, has been a place of first for us. We got our first class win here in 2005. We got our first overall win here in 2012, and we certainly like to make tomorrow a first as well.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's fair to say that there would not have been this program without John Doonan. There would not have been that pole position without Mazda Team Yost and without Ollie Jarvis. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Congratulations to Lexus and Richard Heistand. The 14 car takes GTD pole to Ford and Sebastian Bourdais on GTLM. Kyle Masson takes LMP2 for the 38 squad, and Mazda ahead of the two Acuras as far as the Acura SportsCar Challenge here at Mid-Ohio. What a race we've got in prospect, and you'll see it all and hear it all here on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. For Jeremy Shaw and Shea Adam, I'm John Hindhaugh. Thanks very much for joining us. We've got loads more racing from Mid-Ohio this weekend, live on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV.